Let's roll. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah, she so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah, she so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. She give me a bit of her love.
If the police or federal agent show up at your door and say they just want to talk, you need to understand what that means because most people accidentally give up their rights right here. First, what is a knock and talk? A knock and talk is when the police or federal agents come to your home without a warrant and they ask to talk to you or come inside. This is voluntary. Second, do you have to open the door? No, you do not have to open the door. You can talk to them through the door, you can talk to them through the window, or you can not talk at all. The door is not a legal requirement. Third, do you have to let them inside? Also, no. Without a warrant, consent, or an emergency, law enforcement cannot go into your home, but consent can be as simple as stepping aside and saying, sure. Fourth, when do you have to let them inside? If law enforcement has a warrant, you have to let them enter. If there's an emergency, like someone is in danger, they can enter. Otherwise, your home has the strongest constitutional protections. Fifth, talking is optional. You can say that you do not wish to answer questions and that you would like a lawyer. You don't have to explain yourself and you don't have to prove that you're nice. Save this, share it, and remember that being polite does not mean you have to give up your rights. You can be respectful and still say no.
Continue to be in that type of position, right? Where we're going to continue to look like we are a part of something that we have no control over, right? Because think about this, y'all. I put myself in a position to kind of look at the world that what we're in right now and look at how so many things just seem too convenient, right? It seems like it's too easy for these things to be happening. Because even let's take ICE for example, right? We understand that during the campaign they kept saying like, "Yo, we're gonna run a campaign where if a certain person became president, that they were gonna round the people up and get them out of the country." So that person ran on that platform. That was one of the promises that was made throughout the campaign. So what happened was when everybody went out to vote, that was part of what they voted for. Now I do understand that it's made to believe that the Democrats and Republicans are really against each other. I know. I know it's meant to believe that. I know it's made to look like, they're not getting along. The government was shut down because one side over the other, and this people for those people and that people. And to be honest with y'all, I just don't believe so, y'all. I think it's all a stage. I feel like we are watching the biggest movie in the world being played out in front of us, and we are just the pawns being used as a catalyst to fund these things. Because the reason why I say a catalyst to fund these things is because whenever you go back and you look at the history of the United States and you realize that there was a period of time where the government was run and there was no taxes being taken from its citizens. And then we come to find out now that even though the citizens are being taxed right now and or have been for a really long time, that money is not really being used to run the government either.
So it looks like our tax dollars that we do pay only goes to fund NGOs, which is non-government organizations. And then those NGOs, they are the ones that's able to siphon the money back out to the people who allowed them the opportunity to funnel the money through. So it's like a reward. It's like a gift and a reward. It's like the person who has the NGO, they get the gift. And because they get the gift, the person who is responsible for allowing them to get their gift gets a reward. And that's what it looks like out here. And I think for the most part, a lot of people will not see it that way because they really think that this person is against somebody. Like they really doing that. So, like for example, when it came down to the ICE agent who just unalived the lady a few days ago, when we look at these things like that, like the way that it looked like she was trying to get away. It also looked like she was blocking traffic. And so, whenever these things occur, and then all of a sudden a citizen gets murdered in that particular fashion, and then right in front of people when they know people are filming and the cameras are out and all of these other things, I wonder if we all don't see the fact that knowing that this is going to happen like this wasn't a way for us to have selective rage. Like it was like a bait to have selective rage because y'all know every so often something like this happens. Oh, pardon me, I'm beating up my own microphone. You know, something like this happens that's major where it causes an unaliving, that it causes them to enact some new type of law or something. Right? Have y'all not noticed that? Because even from every single tragedy that's happened so far in American soil, something has came from that swinging around. Think about all the way back to the campaign when they was talking about the migrants that was over here. They was raping all the girls and doing all these other things. So then, boom, that enacted this law. So everything that was used as a form of violence that they were saying, they were able to enact certain things, and then the people went along with it. They vote for these things because they felt like they were being safe, not knowing that we are all voting to put ourselves in danger. Because whenever this country has become a place where, you know, on the main stage, you can see an unaliving by a government official. Because whether we want to accept it or not, the ICE agents are government officials. Like these are officers that were hired to do a job. And in this job, they were hired to round up people who were illegal. Now, when it comes down to the fact of them knowing that, we all know that. What I like to ask, and I always ask these questions, right? When I talk to people, I say, listen, for all the people that are outraged about the things that are going on with the migrants, how come none of them are in line to sponsor the people that they really care about so they can actually stay here if that's the case? You know, people want to fight for something. They don't want to be responsible for them though. And that's just like a lot of people out here in the world. They want all the bells and whistles and everything it take to be in the spotlight, but they don't want to do none of the work behind the scenes that really put you in a position to be in the spotlight. People just want to be in the spotlight. Like they want to skip it. It's like a microwave effect. People don't want to cook their food no more. People don't want to use the oven. They don't want to use the stove. They want to pull their shit out the freezer, rip the plastic off, or poke a couple holes in the top, throw that joint in there for about 2 minutes, pop the top, and eat. That's how people want to get down. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you get no nutrition from that type of eating at all. But from the most part, if you guys really kind of put this in perspective, if you really think that these people, Democrats and Republicans, are not working together behind the scenes, that these people are not in the meetings that we're closed off to, not putting out the plan of how they're going to dupe us out here and put us in an emotional state where now we just giving permission for things to happen. Because in this country, you could protest freely. In other countries, you cannot. So That's the difference. In these other countries, they tell you if you protest, they're gonna lock you up, they're gonna do all this other shit because they know the energy of the people, right? Because they know that if the people come together, they'll overthrow the government and change the situation over there because those people have a different sense of radicalness than we do over here. What they got us doing over here is fighting each other. Like, it's not the same. Like what's going on in Iran right now, it's not because it's Democrat or Republican. It's a group of people going against whoever you are out there in that position of why we got high inflation, why we getting taxed like the way that we are, why we in poverty and all of these other things. And we have all of these natural resources that seem to be going out and coming in, aligning with other countries because Iran is really aligning with the BRICS nations too. So if you guys are doing all these things, you got this much money, you got enough money where you got this, all these weapons, you got all of these things, but yet and still your people are suffering. And that's what they was talking about in Venezuela. Like, look, I don't know all the real details in Venezuela besides what they putting out there like everybody else. And we know how propaganda go, right? We know that in this particular space that they could feed us anything and emotionally we go with it. That's how it's always worked. Like, kind of think about this, y'all. Like when they say people feed off of energy, they really do feed off of energy. Even people in your life, like they know how to do certain things to get you to feel a certain way. Like once people learn you how to control you in that way, like, well, I'm gonna say it to you like this: it's a form of control, but once they learn how to trigger you in a way where they can control you, what I mean by that is discourage you from something. Because whenever you share your visions and dreams with certain people. I was talking about this earlier today. Like whenever you share your visions and dreams with people, the first thing they want to do is go to the worst case scenario. Like people like that, you cannot share your visions and dreams with. Like, and if it's a necessity that you have to share with them, you're not sharing it with them because you're looking for feedback. You're telling them what you're going to do because it's a difference. When you have people in your life that really support you, you can go to them with your dreams and visions and ideas, and they'll help you build onto it. They won't tell you the worst case scenario about what you're trying to do. They won't tell you why what you're trying to do may not work and all this other shit. Everybody feel like they protecting you by telling you something that is not the energy you on because we all know that you can fail at whatever you try. There is nobody that didn't try something for the first time that you didn't think that you might fail at it because you never done it before. So if you're doing something that's a vision inside of your head, this is how I feel like we're all gods because I know me, for example, there's something that I thought about, this design back here on my wall, all these things, the gear, everything, the music, the skits, everything, these are things that I had in my head, right? And then for them to be in fruition like this is how we look at God. I'm not saying I'm in the same space as God, the creator. I'm talking about when they say that we were made in the image of God, that meaning we were made to be creators as well, too. If we were made by the creator, that he gave us the power to create too. Through him, they say through all things, through Christ, that strengthens me, right? So if that's the case, and even if y'all don't want to hold on to whatever Christ is, because Christ is not Jesus' last name, Jesus wasn't even his name. We know that, right? There wasn't even a J during that time in whatever their grammar was through Hebrew. There wasn't even a J. They wouldn't even pronounce that. Like it wouldn't even been pronounced that anyway. So regardless, but whatever he's known as now, we don't have to argue his name. All I'm saying is at the end of the day, even through that, it was just about a spirit, right? Through that energy, not through the energy of negativity, not through the energy of worst case scenario, not through the energy of people trying to put you in a position that they feel like they trying to protect you by giving you the worst case scenario of some shit that you got a vision for. Look, if God puts something in you, the worst case scenario has already been taken care of. That's another thing that people don't think about when it comes to their life. We too busy worried about the worst case scenario, not knowing that God already worked the shit out. Like, you are the one that's worrying about it. God don't give us a spirit of fear. And I'm not a preacher. I'm not preaching to y'all. Y'all know the vibes on this platform. I just like to give it to y'all real. Look at what's going on in Iran, y'all. They wilding over there, but they wilding together. Over here, we separate. We wilding separate, like the people who is not evoking that emotion is not working together. That's the gag. Regardless, that's the gag, y'all. They all listen. When Elon and the Doge and them came through, the wool was pulled, like the whole little wool over the eye, whatever that is. That shit was pulled back. Whenever they was telling y'all, listen, y'all, this money going through here wasn't going to what they said it was going to. A small percentage. The rest of that was going back to the people that y'all voted for that don't listen to y'all. We vote people in a place that don't listen to us. We vote them in there, they don't listen to us, and they continue to take the money. And they don't need it. The government not ran off of it. Here's another thing. Why do y'all think the current president been talking about the tariff so heavy and talking about giving everybody a dividend and a stipend and all this other shit, even if it don't happen this year, whenever it's supposed to happen, whatever, just offer the money that's coming in off of the tariffs? Why? Because he know, just like they knew all along, that the government is not ran off the money that they take from the 9 to 5 each and every day. The government is ran off of that right there, import and exports. That's the money that they've been controlling, because we got the hottest market. We have the highest prices, if not the second highest prices to Europe for most things around the world. We create all the culture. We create everything. Everything, y'all. Everything that is popular, everything that's hot, the biggest movie stars in the world is from here, from places like Philadelphia, New York. I'm talking about the places that we consider slums. Some of the biggest in the world is from these places, y'all. Right here. They're not from all them other places that we talking about. Yeah, there's some big people from Europe and all that other shit that made it and all that, but not that run the culture. The culture is ran from right here, and yet the people who make the culture pop don't own the culture right here. Why? Because we separated by Democrat and Republican, while the Democrat and the Republicans are working together to put us in a position to keep us right down here. Because why, y'all? I don't get it. For the most part, nobody can explain that to me. Nobody can explain that to me. All I know is that we looking at TV and then arguing. People are arguing in their households. People are in their households divided over whether they felt like ICE should be knocking people down like they doing, or should people just be here and the people who work here every day pay for those people to be here, while the people who we pay to help make sure that the things that we need get done are not getting the things done for us. And I don't understand the trade-off. I don't think that the people, and I think, people misconstrue me too, because they think that I'm popping shit about the immigrants. Like, I don't want them here. Like, yo, listen, regardless of what a person is here for or not, I feel like if you was able to get into a country from wherever your country from, to a place where you cannot drive to, you belong there. Because listen, I've taken a bunch of planes across water and shit like that, where the water look endless to get there to where we going. I ain't about to be going through all that to go hang out in somebody else's spot that really don't want me here. So if these people feel strong enough to get here, they supposed to be here. Now, the people that's here wilding and doing dumb shit to the people here, that's different. But the people that been born here is doing dumb shit to the people that's been born here too. So what about that? Whether they come from another country or they just come from around the corner from where you from, it's the same thing happening. I don't get the difference. So although I'm not for people getting drugged and beat up and kids getting drugged out of school because they speak Spanish first and all this other shit, like, I ain't for all that. I ain't with that. But I do know that, me personally, if I don't like what's going on here, I don't like what happened to me, I can't just get on a boat or slide through somewhere and go to another country and post up and then go down to wherever they social services is and just sit there like a real one and just get benefits and get them to be giving me health care and find me a spot, and I get what they not gonna do me like that in no other country ever. Even in Africa, they say that we from Africa, even though I don't believe that we from Africa, so-called African Americans. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Tracing my lineage back, we didn't come over here on no ships, yo. But that's just that. I ain't gonna talk about that. But either way, even them over there, they won't even accept us like that without us having to go through the proper channels in order for us to be there. If that was the case, you know how many people from over here would have went back by now if it was just like, yo, all y'all gotta do is go back. They call y'all African Americans. Why are they calling y'all African Americans if you're supposed to be from Africa? Then damn, then what do you need a citizenship to go back to Africa if that's what they call you? That's your first name, African American. So shit, you both. You're supposed to be able to go back and forth when you want to. It's like, yo, if you from Jersey or you from New York, I know what we did. We went back and forth when we wanted to. I ain't see same thing. Like we should be able to go back and forth when we wanted to. If we got double names and we double people, and we Africans and Americans, we should be able to go to Africa and America. Like, yo, what's the vibe? Like, who's going to tell us we can't go if that's what we both are? All the people here that claim they Americans say they here, they knowing that their lineage came from other places. So listen, all I know is that wherever we are supposed to be is where home is supposed to be. So if all of us have the same thing in mind and saying, yo, this is where we are, this is our home, why are we not in more control of our home is all I'm asking. Why are we so emotionally charged by the things that are going on, knowing that we could have changed it and we still got time? Listen, they trying to come up with digital IDs while y'all arguing. Right? They're trying to come up with smart cities while y'all arguing 15-minute cities where you don't move out of this 15-minute zone, yo. Y'all don't see that? Y'all sitting up here worried about this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? They about to tokenize oil. All that whole play with Venezuela and all that other shit. I told y'all, anytime anything got to do with war, you gotta follow the money. That's the one thing y'all don't do. Y'all about all this money, but you don't follow it. Y'all about a Gucci bag and about a bum ass Benz or some shit like that. That's the money that y'all about. But y'all ain't following the bucks. Do y'all know that, yo? Like literally, they about to tokenize oil. If that wasn't the play, look at what's been going on out there. Before my man got caught up, Maduro or whatever his name is, yo, fam sent mad oil over there to your people in them, over in Russia and shit. Then come to find out, he sent mad shit over here too. So if that's the case, if listen, y'all, if that's the case, he said somewhere where it average out to the price of about $5 billion worth of it. Yo, so if that's the case, what do y'all think they doing that if they trying to build up an oil reserve? That mean they about to tokenize and put oil on the blockchain. So why is that not something that y'all not paying attention to? Yeah, they pop shit over there. So same thing going on over there in Iran, all these other places. What you think the commodity is every time these countries start popping up with all that other shit, y'all, I want y'all to go. Look at the natural resources, look at the commodity, look at the way that they're trying to go with the future. Before they could come up with these smart cities, they need power. They need a lot of power. They need a lot of all the stuff, lithium and everything that come out the ground. They need all these things, right? Not these minerals and all these precious minerals that they call it. They need all of these things to help them do what they're going to do, right? So as they're pulling all this shit together, they keeping us distracted by having us arguing over left and right shit. You know what I'm saying? Up and down, gay and straight, male and female, this, that, and all this other dumb shit. Black and white still. Even on this platform, yo, I can't even. Y'all should see the comments on TikTok, on my TikTok page, yo. Words bomb. They be calling me everything but a child of God over my opinion about these things when it come to racism. And they only make comments when I speak about things that have to do with racism. Like they don't talk about none of the other shit. They only talk about the stuff that I say when it come down to racism as if I'm trying to pick in between the two. I'm just being honest. Like, yo, it's the truth. We should be able to call out bullshit no matter what your race is. Because y'all didn't get to pick who y'all was gonna be before y'all got down here, man. And even if you did, that's what you chose. So if you chose that, then damn, be proud of it. But damn, don't hate on somebody else because they chose something different. It's the same thing in life, right? But we living in that right now, y'all. Because that little lady that got killed through the ice thing or whatever, and then they was claiming that she was about to run him over and all that other shit. You know the craziest thing about it? If I was to say something like, yo, this lady done lost her life, her family is going to have to deal with this, right? All of these things, and it based off of something that's political. Like, yo, that's the most insensitive part about all of this, y'all. Like, technically, this woman really lost her life over politics. That's it. That's the thing. And we still separated by politics. Like, because technically, if we would have all been working together, we would have worked to make sure that she wasn't even in her car, wasn't even in that position in the street. We'd have made sure that those people that are around would have been like, yo, Monk, nah, go ahead, straighten your car. Don't block them. Let them do whatever they're going to do. Because at the end of the day, we going to continue to document and then we know what to do. When we got to go down there to the White House, whatever y'all felt like y'all had to do. But remember, the one thing about that January 6th riot shit that happened when they stormed the Capitol, the one thing about that, although they called it treason and all this other shit, I get that. Whatever, man. The one thing about it is that those people went right up in that shit together. Yeah. And things changed after that too, didn't they? They got things changed after that. But it also put a whole bunch of people in a position where because they believed in something so heavy that they got outside of themselves. Why? Because they were emotionally charged to say, yo, I'm a Republican. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to wild out. I'm going to go up in the state capitol. I'm going to wild out because I'm a Republican. I'm going to find the closest Democrat chair and whatever computer office or whatever, and I'm going to vandalize it. And all they did was take that same little tax money out of your, because think about it, you paid everything that you went and destroyed in DC, you paid for. If you got a job, you pay for it. You went and destroyed your own shit. Then they took it and then rebought stuff, re-cleaned it, redid everything with the money they already taken from you. So whenever y'all go do all this stuff, you pay for it. You pay for it. When you live in a state that got state taxes, right? They got state income taxes and you got property taxes and all that other shit. If you a homeowner in the state that you live in, you go out here, you riot, you do whatever, you know what I'm saying? Just because it ain't around your way where you pay property taxes, the state still is, it's still benefiting from it all, no matter what the county is. You still pay for it. And guess what else we pay for out of our tax money? When we get brutalized by the police, by ICE, by whoever, guess who paid for it? We did. So again, we upset about the things that we're paying for. We are paying for these things that happen to us. When they poison us, think about this. All of these people, right? It was one point in time where pharmaceutical companies couldn't advertise on television. And then they were able to do that. So then now they lobby all these politicians, right? They lobby all these politicians, and a lot of times they work together. So you got the food companies working together with the pharmaceutical companies, the pharmaceutical companies working together with the lobbyists in Congress, and they getting all these things passed. And what they're doing is they're being allowed to allow the food to look real but be fake in order to work alongside of the medical industry in order for them to keep us in a rotating door. They know that because of pricing and all of that, people are going to buy and eat cheap. People that buy and eat cheap are the people that's going to be the revolving door patients that's in and out of the medical facilities that's going to keep that whole system rich. And each and every person that looks at another person when they say they fasting or when they say they doing this, and you look at them like they crazy or something wrong with them and everything else like that, whenever you looking at yourself and saying they're controlling you by the food, they controlling you by your bills. And then in all of those things that they controlling you by, everything that happened outside that happens to you, you pay for that as well. So just think about that as a citizen, y'all, while we are arguing over black and white, while we're arguing over short and tall, bald and hair, you got all the women out here saying that they don't need a man. You got all the men out here trying to be women and shit like that. While everybody out here arguing and going through all that dumb shit, these people in the background that already got money. Remember, the people that are doing the things to us that's super foul are wealthy people. Right? It's not poor people. The things that happen to people every day, you would seem like it would come from somebody that's jealous. It would come from people who hate, come from people who feel like, yeah, we got more than them, so they want us to come down. No, the fact that we do got more than them, but we don't know the more that we got. Obviously, why would they go so hard to put shit in the air, put shit in the water, put it in the food, if we not more than what we even known to be? And I think that that's how that happens. It works, right? I don't know, y'all. I just think that at some point in time, we're gonna have to wake up as a group of people, and I mean as whatever we want to call ourselves. We're gonna have to wake up. We looking at ICE outside doing whatever they doing. Y'all gonna have to wake up. If you're not willing to go sponsor these people that's out there, then stop standing in the way of what they got going on. Just stop it. Because you ain't doing nothing but just popping shit and looking for dramatics. It's just like when you go to church, people going to church, they get the word. They don't want to see people running around and speaking, and they don't want to hear all that, man. Some people really are in the desperate need to hear from God. And if you think that speaking in tongues is hearing from God, it's not. That ain't the language you speak. Then somebody from Africa could come in there and just speak their regular language. You would think you would know what the hell they was talking about. You would think they were speaking in tongues too. How would you know the difference? You know what I'm saying? It's just like whenever people are coming, it's like we got to get to the meat of things. We can't just always look for the icing on top of the cake. Is the cake good? The icing is always going to be, but is the cake good? You know what I'm saying, y'all? Is the cake good? That's what we want to know. We don't care too much about all our shit. We want to know if the cake good. If the cake good is good. A lot of people eat pound cake. You don't really have no icing on it. If the cake good, if it's moist and all that. Icing just mean that it tastes a little bit better, but it doesn't mean that the cake is not good without the icing. That's what we talking about. We want the good cake. I don't know why I'm talking about cake, but y'all know what I mean, right? We want the good cake. We don't care the icing is gonna be there or not, long as the cake good, because we'll eat some. We'll get a piece of cake. If it's dry, that icing don't mean shit. We throw that cake away, right? You know, so look, y'all. I don't want to be the person that comes off like I don't care about people, because sometimes it can be mistaken that way, especially when it comes down to the sensitivity of people when it comes to ice and stuff like that. But word is born, y'all. If y'all don't understand that they're not playing in our face, then at some point you're gonna continue to be upset. You're gonna continue to find reasons not to like this person and not like that person and being emotional. And then at the same time, you're not going to pay attention to what the real deal is. Follow the money. They about to tokenize oil, y'all. All of these things that's going on about energy and all these other things, they talk about Putin is able to continue this war because he's getting funded by people buying his oil in Iran and all that. Listen, y'all, once they tokenize oil, and you know that for energy, do they really need oil? Not necessarily, but think about it, y'all. They're going to run on it, right? They're going to run on it, but they're going to tokenize it, put it on the blockchain. So if they tokenize it, put it on the blockchain, I wonder how many of y'all, since you're getting this information from me or you following the money, is going to invest in it. Let's see. Because I bet you a lot of y'all not. I bet a lot of people are going to see. And then and the ticket symbol is USOR, something like that. And If you want, you can just look it up. Just look it up. Say, yo, what's the ticker symbol for the tokenization of oil that's coming up? On blockchain. That's it. Just ask the question and it'll pull it up for you. And then you guys find a way that you can do it. It's gonna be on the Solana too. So, it's gonna be built out on Solana. So for those of y'all that's invested in Solana, it's not financial advice. I'm just throwing it out there for educational purposes only. For those of y'all that's invested in Solana, think about that. That's gonna make that even more valuable too, right? So pay attention. Pay attention. Put yourself in a position where you can have that financial freedom, but not just be financially free, but be mentally free to not get caught up in what they got y'all doing. Because I'm telling y'all, if the scenario of leave the world behind really happens, y'all are going to fall apart out here. Why? Because you already allowed them to separate you to the point where you will die out here because you don't trust nobody, because you haven't learned to work together, because you think that because of how you born, your skin color, and your height, and all that other dumb shit is a real reason for you to hate another person. Yeah, people that looked a certain way did things to people that looked a different way, but that is just a part of what happened during the time. That's life. But are we going to continue to be the victim of those things? I think not. We're not going to continue to be the victim of slavery. We're not going to continue to be the victim of Jim Crow. We're not going to continue to be the victim of segregation. We're not going to continue to be the victim of that, y'all. I promise you. It's over with for that shit, y'all. We're not going to sit around here and let people treat us less than because they want us to look like we less than. That's over for that. We're not that. We're not them. Okay, y'all? We're just not. And these people are working together. The private prisons, all these people are working together, y'all, and we not. And I don't know what makes y'all feel like we can continue to survive this way, because that ain't the vibe, y'all. We can't. It's not the way we're meant to be. If we're God's for real. If we made in his image, we made in his image for real. And if those of y'all that believe that, understand that one thing, made in the image of, that means the copy of. That means that when you see yourself, you see God. How you going to let another person tell you who you can and cannot be when you're looking at God? And they say God could be everywhere at every time. Why? I guess so, because all of us are him. You know what I'm saying? So if all of us are him, we everywhere at all times, or not him, or whatever the source may be, because it can't just be male. It has to be both, because we don't survive without both. Nature doesn't survive without both. So the creator has to be both, but that's something else. That's just for me. That's just my train of thought. It's not to make anybody else think that way. And it ain't really that the point of my conversation, right? That's just me. You know what I'm saying? I talk to myself and everything. I even answer back too. So I don't know if you want to take that, that little portion right there from me, but we're gonna talk through it, and we're gonna get these decisions done, and we're gonna make it happen, even if you gotta talk to yourself. You know what I mean? Let me see what's going on with the comments. Okay, that comment didn't come through from Yessie. Let's see. Oh, my boy, yo, what's good, man? Yeah, definitely appreciate you, family. Word for checking in. Let's see. Arthur Nikki. Yo, what up, Nick? How you doing? I definitely appreciate you on the check-in, yo, for checking me out. Shout out to you and everything you got going on in your platform as well. So look, y'all. I'm going to get out the way for y'all tonight, all right? I'm going to get out y'all way tonight. I got a guest next week. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty much booked up all the way through March. And so, supposedly, but if not, y'all know what we're going to do. If our guests don't show or whatever, we're gonna make it shake, right? We're going to have us a conversation, because by the looks of things outside, we'll never run out of things to talk about, right? We'll never run out of things to talk about. We'll never run out of things that we can shed some type of perspective on. And until we actually get ourselves lined up, I know for me personally, I'm going to keep popping that shit, yo. Yeah, I'm going to keep talking about it. And and I understand, yo, I be in a lot of rooms where people don't agree with me. You know what I'm saying? I was at the reparations convention in DC, and boy, them old men was about to beat shit out of me in there, because I was like, yo, but it was crazy because they asked me questions. It wasn't like I volunteered information. It's just something about sitting there looking like you paying attention to people. And then they like, what you think, young blood? Even though, I guess I wasn't to them, I guess, whatever. But what you think? And then I tell them, and then they be like, oh, man, what's wrong with you? Who you? Like, they go off on you. And you like, damn, bro, you asked me. I'm minding my business, just listening to you. Word. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, y'all know the vibe, man. I'm on it each and every week, man. Every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We right here, man. We're gonna give you all that information, man. We're gonna get it out and realize that, man, if you are a person out there that has a story that you want to tell, you have, some things going on in your life that you felt like was very interesting that could help another person, or if you're a business, you're an entrepreneur, if you're a CEO, like whatever your story is, man, y'all know it's always room for y'all, right? Hit me up at sparkleconversation@gmail.com. Make sure you put in the subject line guest and we can schedule, man, try to figure out how to get you on. Or if you are on IG, you know the vibe, man. Hit me up at Raw1 on IG. Let's catch a vibe over there. Again, if you are on YouTube and you want to catch any of the content that we do film-wise, it is Team Collective TV on YouTube, all right? Y'all make sure that y'all check that out, man, okay? And just remember, man, I'm always going to be available for people who are available for themselves. Do that make sense? Right? Does that make sense? Like, yo, if you believe in yourself enough to tell your story and I got an open date and it's a story worth telling, you just got to tell me what we want to talk about and we'll get you on, right? So that's it. So again, y'all, until next week, man, y'all hold it down out there. Remember, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. And then again, man, I'm going to be right back here, same bat channel, same bat place, same bat time, yo. So y'all catch up with me then. Until then,